Welcome back to this tutorial on how to plot a novel or memoir using the 12-stage mythic structure. All right, I'm going to pull that up again and we'll look at that. And we will basically go into more depth on stages 3 and 4. So if you had a chance to look at this, hopefully you looked at the description box below where I pasted it in. So all you have to do is copy and paste it in and create your own document. This is your template. You can save it as a template so you can use it over and over and over again. And you can use it for the specific project that you're working on right now. All right, so as I suggested in the last video, I hope you came up with a title, even if it's just a working title. I hope you looked at stage 1, the ordinary world in which your character is in his or her ordinary world. Of course, ordinary does not mean boring. And that you looked at stage 2, which is the call to adventure. This is the inciting incident. This is the event that catapults them out of their ordinary world into something extraordinary that starts them on their journey. So if we were to use Avatar as an example, the character has his ordinary world in which he was injured and he can't walk. But something catapulted him into this adventure because he had to replace his brother on the ship to Pandora because his brother had the same DNA. And therefore, he was the only one who could replace his brother in the Avatar, okay? So this sent him on his adventure. If it weren't for that, everything would still go on as normal in his ordinary world, okay, as he was prior to taking his brother's place. All right, so he arrives at Pandora, but in the beginning, he's actually resistant. He doesn't really get into it immediately, okay? And that's the way it is for your main character. They will be blocked in some way, either internally or externally or both, okay? Harry Potter is an also good example of this because Harry Potter, he doesn't necessarily resist the call. You know, he's not necessarily refusing the call himself. This is where he gets blocked externally. Like in book 1, he wants to accept the letter and go to Hogwarts, but his uncle doesn't want him to. His uncle does everything he can to block Harry from accepting the call to adventure and going to Hogwarts. But eventually, Harry meets his mentor, which in book 1 is Hagrid, okay? And Hagrid is going to help him to go, on his call to adventure. And the mentor can also be a shadow mentor. And the reason why I mention that is because a lot of times, people think, well, if it's a mentor, if it's an ally, it's got to be somebody good, like Dumbledore, but really it can also be a shadow mentor. Like Snape was actually a shadow mentor for Harry. And so each book, new mentors come in, which is, I think, a good thing when you're working with a series like that. So if you're just working with one story, your main character, whether this is fiction or this is memoir, because you are your main character if you're writing memoir, you want to be thinking about who is your mentor, that person who helps you the most on your journey. All right, so that's it for stages 3 and 4. And I will jump over to my own story that I was working on with this so you can see an example. All right, let's go take a look at that. Okay, so her refusal to the call, well, it's mostly that she's still really upset about breaking up with her boyfriend. She's just not feeling good at all. She's not happy about life. She really can't take in the joy of inheriting the bookshop and finding this magic book because she's just way too upset. She feels completely unworthy and finally cries over the loss of her boyfriend. So she's not really jumping for joy. She's in that refusal of the call. So eventually she does meet a mentor, though. Back at the bookshop, she meets Isabel. Isabel shows up and begins to mentor Temperance. So basically, what I want you to do is I want you to take this template, keep working with it. Don't give up, even if it's a bit challenging. Just keep working with it. If you don't have your title yet, come up with a title. I don't care if it's a working title. That's totally fine. You can always change it later. But by giving it a title, it helps you to focus on what the story is about, okay? And you can always change it later. Also, something about it, like subconsciously, causes you to take it seriously. If you at least give it a name, just like if you had a baby, you wouldn't just call it the baby. You would give your child a name because your child matters. Well, this is your child. Give your child a name. Show your subconscious, show the world that this matters to you, that you take it seriously. Okay. And again, you can change it later. This is just a working title for now. Maybe it will become your title, all the way through publication. Who knows? But don't worry about it. Just give it a title. That's all you got to do. Work through those first 4 stages. If you can go on to the others, you can go all the way to stage 12. In fact, I encourage you to go as far as you can, even if you take them out of order. Like some of them you may leave blank because you're not sure yet, and you can keep going on. Fill out as many of the 12 as you can. Really work hard to at least get the first 4 done. Don't worry about stage 6. That's the hardest one. Okay. Stage 6 is so weird because it's one of 12, and yet it's about half of the novel. It's insane. And so we'll be talking a lot about stage 6. But for now, just stick with the program. Keep working on this outline. And if you want to, get as many of those 12 stages done as you can, and even start to write some scenes. Like maybe you want to work on the first scene of your character in his or her ordinary world, and you can work on them out of order. You don't have to do it in order, where you think the story begins all the way till the end. You don't have to do it that way. Just go at it any way you want, whatever feels like it's got the most energy, whatever you feel most inspired to work on, because it's like building a jigsaw puzzle. You're creating each little piece, like by itself. Like you've got the whole grand picture. Like with mine, my original title was The Siren. I knew that she had siren DNA. So she was like a mermaid, like a mermaid vampire. And the water was going to activate this thing in her. But, and I knew that she was going to break up with her boyfriend and inherit this bookshop. But I didn't know everything of the whole story right from the beginning. I had to find out, but I had the overall picture, this jigsaw puzzle that I was creating. Then I would create each little piece just one at a time. Maybe only 500 words, maybe sometimes only 250 words. But I had that little piece, then another little piece, then another piece, and another piece, and another piece. And I kind of put them where I thought they would go. Like maybe this is over here, the beginning around the ordinary world. This is probably over here by, call to adventure. Maybe down here, I think I know how it's going to end, but whatever. I would just work on it as it came to me. And then I would put the pieces where I thought they went. And then over time, I would get to the stage that I called the Swiss cheese stage, which is where I had enough pieces of the puzzle that I could actually see where the holes were. That's really exciting. But we're still at the beginning. We're still working on the outline. And we're just beginning to write those scenes. So just trust the process. Have fun with it. Play. Writing should always be about fun and play and creativity. The work will come later, after the raw creation phase. But have fun in this first stage. Play with your story, figure out this outline, have fun with it, and then we will begin to create the pieces of that puzzle, scene by scene by scene. All right, so that's it for today, and I will see you again in the next video, in which I will go more in depth into stages 5 and 6. 6 may need its own video, so we'll see when we get there. All right, have fun playing. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.